Hi, my name's Roxanne and I'm an Apprentice Nation Skills Leader. It's time to start thinking about how to best prepare and get the most out of your mentoring conversations. If you've not seen episode 1 with Josiah, make sure you go back and give it a watch.
Yeah, Roxanne, my episode Define Mentorship spoke about the roles of a mentor and a mentee, but I'll hand over to you so that they can learn how to make the most out of their mentoring relationship.
So let's explore the theory of mentoring and understand how to best maximize your mentor's time, as well as think about what's most important to you when you think about sitting down with a mentor. Now you know what mentoring is, take a moment to think about what would be most important to you. The words on screen may help you in case you're stuck. Trust, communication, respect, happiness, teamwork, forgiveness, commitment, fun, empathy, reliability, emotional support, boundaries. I hope you've started to think about what's important to you. Let's now think about one of the main questions. How do I structure a relationship with a mentor? A successful mentoring relationship typically goes through 4 phases: preparation, negotiation, growth, and closure. This happens over time, not just in one conversation. Preparation typically takes place at the beginning, negotiation during the middle of the relationship, whereas growth can begin to take place during the middle as well as the end, and closure typically takes place at the end of the mentoring relationship. If these words mean nothing to you, do not worry. I'm going to break down each phase so you have a better understanding of how to prepare. So first we have preparation. Preparation is all about preparing for the mentoring conversation. Preparing will help you to think about what you want to achieve and also allow you to make a great first impression as a mentee. Preparation includes the initial introduction between you and your mentor, so building a rapport, getting comfortable with one another, and recapping. You might be asking yourself, how do I actually prepare? If that's the case, here are some handy top tips. Do your research. Get some understanding of your mentor's job role and their background. What field do they work in and what's their experience? Think about what you would like to achieve from the mentoring relationship. Do you just want to network? Do you want work experience? Or is it just general advice? Beginning to ask yourself these questions will help you to create a good rapport with your mentor and help you be best prepared right from the beginning. Next up is negotiation. Think about it as taking your preparation to the next level. Negotiating with your mentor typically flows from the beginning of your relationship into the middle. The negotiation phase includes goal setting, planning, and reviewing these goals. Again, you may be thinking, how do I negotiate with my mentor? If so, think about these few points. Set tangible and realistic goals. SMART goals are a great way to get started. Discuss actionable timelines and review dates with your mentor. Setting aside time to review progress can really help you evaluate the quality of your mentoring sessions, as well as reevaluate set goals. Lastly, when reviewing your goals, think about asking your mentor for feedback. Is there something you'd like to know more about, or should you be doing something differently? Remember, negotiating is all about finding the right balance for you and what works best for your mentoring conversation. Next up is growth. Naturally, we all grow and develop as time goes on. Growth is a significant phase that takes place during your mentoring relationship. Typically, this will come after a few sessions, as well as after setting and reviewing goals, as we discussed above. The whole point of mentoring is to grow as an individual through connecting with others. Think about asking your mentor to assess your growth from the beginning of your conversations to where you are now. Hearing actionable feedback is always a great way to recognize how far you've come. This phase is also great for asking probing or challenging questions. You may begin to feel more comfortable with your mentor at this point, so this is a great opportunity to push yourself and your mentor. They will be able to provide you with actionable suggestions and help you to continue growing as an individual. Lastly in this framework is closure. This phase occurs at the end of the mentoring conversation. It's a great chance to summarize and reflect on your experience with your mentor, as well as celebrate your wins and achievements. Also, you can confirm actionable next steps or even a next meeting. Remember, closure is a great opportunity to think about what's next and what more you'd like to get out of your relationship to help maximize your mentor's time. Don't skip over this phase. Many people underestimate how beneficial it can be. So there you have it. Tools to help you get the most from your mentor's time and really structure an effective mentoring conversation. The 4 phases are now back on screen for you to take a note of and jot down your thoughts. Remember, the onus is on you. Here's a top tip. Share this framework with your mentor at the beginning of your relationship. It will indicate you have put thought into the relationship and have a structure. Remember, this is your growth and your opportunity to really drive your mentoring sessions. Your mentor may even ask you to do certain tasks or research in between your conversations. Leading the relationship, it's your responsibility. Right, let's speak to an expert. Paul McPherson, Customer Supplier Planning Manager and a valued Apprentice Nation mentor. Hi Paul, lovely to have you here today. How are you?
Very well, thank you.
Good. Why don't you start off by letting us know who you are and what you do?
So my name is Paul McPherson. I'm a supply planner and I look after the manufacturing and distribution network of all the goods right to the end users.
Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about mentoring and the relationship with a mentee. In your opinion, how would you say a mentee can best prepare for their first conversation with a mentor like yourself?
Well, it's always good to know a bit about the person you're dealing with. It will help on the journey and being able to understand where they want to be, where they are and where they want to go. And with doing that, it also enables you to give the right advice, build a relationship with them so you can build a kind of empowerment between the two of you and you can direct them and instill a sense of more achievement within the work that they do.
No, I think that's a very valuable point, knowing who the person is and finding out a bit more about them. And I guess when you're discussing or having a conversation with your mentee, say they become a little bit disengaged or you haven't heard from them in a while, do you usually follow up with them or do you give them space? What do you normally do if you haven't heard from them?
I look at it as not me being a mentor, as being a friend. It's all about building that relationship and a rapport with the person.
So Paul, how empowered do you allow a mentee to feel when they're having like a mentoring conversation with yourself?
Well, I tend to want them to lead more than me to talk, because the whole purpose of it is to encourage them to be able to express themselves and to lead and encourage in an engagement conversation that will give them more confidence to be able to deliver this workspace at interviews. So I'd give them leading questions, so it's more about them talking than me talking and them answering. I think that's a better way to work in that kind of relationship.
Definitely. I think sometimes people are used to a mentor just speaking at them. Yeah. So I think you're definitely saying you would encourage them to
most definitely, yes.
lead that conversation. That's great. And I guess when you get to the end of your mentoring relationship, what typically happens for you? Do you tend to like follow up with your mentee? Do you guys kind of summarize everything you've discussed over the months or weeks? What happens typically at the end of that relationship?
Well, throughout the whole process, you know, we set targets and goals, and I would tend to keep in touch with them, because, like I say, it's more of a friendship kind of role than as opposed to me being a mentor. Growing up, as I can only speak as myself, I didn't have that kind of network around me, and it would have been good for me to have that, because then you're a shoulder to lean on, and you could someone to look up to and aspire to, and you know. Growing up is hard enough in this world as it is, but if you've got people around you that can generally put you on the right path and you can get good advice from, it also helps and you get a good benefit from that. So I would give them goals and targets to set what they want to do, where they want to be, how they want to achieve it. I would discuss that with them, and then I would basically keep on track with them and to see how they're getting on, how they're getting to hit the goals, the targets. And I would critique them on it. I would give them good feedback, negative feedback, and I'd let them know that just because it's negative, it doesn't mean it's bad feedback. It's a way for you to understand where you are at this current time and what you need to do to get yourself back where you need to be.
I love that. So feedback, reviewing the goals that you guys have set, and like you said, becoming a friend for life, essentially.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for those insights, Paul. That was amazing.
Okay, thank you.
In the next episode, we will be looking at the toolkit and some practical takeaways to help you in your mentoring sessions. Before then, let me leave you with a small activity to help you prepare for your mentoring relationship. Take a moment and mark yourself honestly between 1 to 10 on where you see yourself in response to the following statements, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest. First up, I'm a good listener and cultivate active listening skills. Number 2, I'm a good communicator and flex my communication style depending on my audience. Number 3, I'm comfortable sharing stories about my past experiences. Number 4, I'm familiar with the term SMART goals and how to set my own. Number 5, I'm used to reflecting and schedule time out regularly to review my achievements as well as my strengths and development needs. Number 6, I'm flexible and respect diverse perspectives on a topic or issue. And lastly, number 7, I'm comfortable asking for and acting on feedback from others. Sharing your results with your mentor is a good place to start at the beginning of your mentorship. Josiah and I will share some additional takeaways in episode 3, the Mentee Toolkit. I'm going to close this episode with a quote from the amazing Oprah Winfrey. A mentor is someone who allows you to see the hope inside yourself.